Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
We'll jump to our next topic, the one that everybody's talking about right now. A player that is divisive amongst fans, but one of the greatest. Cristiano Ronaldo has come out and said that United have betrayed me, in one of the many quotes taken from his interview with Piers Morgan. There's a couple in there that I'll mention, and this should be a whole topic by itself. What do you think about Cristiano Ronaldo coming out now and doing this interview and saying this amongst many other things? Because he clearly did not mince words, and I'll mention a couple of quotes as we go along. He even touched on Wayne Rooney. He said he has no respect for Ten Hag, but we'll address those as we go along. But what do you think about Cristiano Ronaldo saying this?
Well, before we do that, I'm just going to quickly jump on a boat this time and sail over to Manchester with venture travel.
Yes.
And I'll see you all in a second. So
let's do that. We'll be waiting.
So I'm back. I'm now in Manchester at Old Trafford, ready to answer all the Ronaldo questions.
How does he do it, folks? How does he do it? I asked that 5 times. James, so now that you're in Old Trafford, you're on the scene, to ask these questions. You're in the stadium. You can let me know what do you think about this whole Cristiano Ronaldo thing? What do the fans think? What do the people think? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I will give the fans' perspective first. I've read a lot of articles, spoke to a lot of fans here, obviously, in Manchester, and they are very, very upset with what he's came out and said, with the accusations he's made, the fact that obviously they feel that he feels he's bigger than the club. We'll touch on that in a second. So he seems to have lost a lot of points with the fans. At this stage, does he care? I'm not so sure, because obviously World Cup is, a few days away. I think what he's probably done is said, well, World Cup's coming up. I have a good World Cup, put myself in the shop window, or even get my contract terminated at United now, and I'll be able to move. It's a sad situation. I do feel for him, because I think, honestly, in my opinion, he has been treated a little unfairly. I don't know about the betrayal and all that, because I think that's making it a little bit of a soap opera. I think you have to look at it from two perspectives. From Ronaldo's perspective, he is one of the best players in the world. He should be playing, but to me, the style of Manchester United does not fit in with his style. With that being said, you've got to look at it from Ten Hag's point of view. He's tried to give him opportunities. Obviously, they had their little quarrels and problems. He still even gave him the captaincy a few weeks ago. And then now Ronaldo's came out and said this. So what happened with Ferguson and Beckham back in the day, obviously, they say no player's bigger than the club. They have to get rid of him. So we'll see if that is the case now. It probably looks that way. But I think, honestly, there's been problems from both sides. I think Ronaldo's ego's probably caused issues. Ten Hag being too stubborn has also, because I think the easy way is, find a solution that'll fit everybody. They've not done that. So, and then with some of these things he's came out and said, I don't think they're wrong, because Gary Neville and guys have said that the club was falling apart. The stadium was, in disarray at times. They were talking about how they needed to upgrade a lot of things from a board level down to the changing rooms. But now that Ronaldo's came out and said it, they've all jumped on the bandwagon and said that, he should never have said that. He should never have done that. So it's a bit of hypocrisy, in a sense, or hypocritical, sorry. So I think the fans and the people around the club are done with him, as simple as that. And I think he's probably done with the club, because he wouldn't have said it, because they say now that he actually asked for the interview with Piers Morgan.
Yep.
It wasn't the other way around. So I think he was really finished. He, in a sense, to say he maybe spat the dummy out, but I'm not saying he was wrong to do it, because at the end of the day, I do personally feel that there's too many things I've done to him that was wrong, At the end of the day, you have one of the best players in the world there. You use him. I'm not saying you don't discipline him, but you treat him fairly, and I don't think it was fairly. So, again, it's a difficult situation, but I think both parties need to move on now. I don't think they'll just cancel his contract, because that's going to cost money from either way. I think he will. To be honest, I think he knows where he's going already. As simple as that. I think he has options. He knows where he's going, and we'll see it happen after the World Cup.
Will it be Rangers? No, of course not. But then again, who knows?
I would love that. Not as player coach, as a player, but I can't see that. He's I don't want to say he's too big for us, because that's wrong. But because again, no player is bigger than the club. But he wants to play Champions League football now. So he'll be looking for those clubs still, you know?
Yep. I know we'll try to do things a little bit differently because I've been looking at a lot of the reports and things like that, and people are generally, they don't look at both sides of the story. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to start off trying to look at it from the player's perspective, as you said. You know, is there something that we're not looking at? Like you mentioned there just now, there's a lot of things. He wasn't treated well. You know, he's a player. He had certain expectations, and he was on the bench. He'd like to play more. The counter argument for that is that okay, you know, I even heard some of those guys on ESPN saying, you know, and you know, this is factual, that okay, while he is great, Ten Hag has been doing pretty good without him. But you know, you have an asset like Ronaldo on your team, why not use him? And then another thing as well, he said in the interview is that when he had the unfortunate, him and his wife lost their child a couple months ago, I think, which is terrible, that he got more support from the Liverpool fans. And he was shocked that he did not get the support that he expected from his own club. And they were not very supportive and understanding of his situation. And he even referenced Alex Ferguson and was saying how when he had a situation with his dad, when he was first at the club back in the early 2000s, that, you know, he was very important back then. And Sir Alex allowed him at a crucial point in the season to take some days off. And, you know, and he even, you know, mentioned the facilities and things like that. Where it said apparently since Sir Alex left the club itself, the facility, and he specifically mentioned, you know, the facilities and the grounds and, you know, and things like that. So he really went into it about things that he was not happy with. And that's obviously listening to his side of the story. No, as a guy, you know, we've worked in clubs and, you know, obviously on a national team together. So, you know, there's a lot of dynamics in football. You deal with people. Oftentimes, there will always be people who disagree on certain things. Do you think that even though these things are being said, was this the right way for him to do it? Or what do you think?
It's a difficult one because I think he was at the end of his tether in a sense, as they say. You know, he was based. I mean, because from what I heard, he knew he was not going to be in the squad for the game against Fulham. You know, so it wasn't as if. I thought myself that maybe he had just said, well, to Ten Hag, I'm going to the World Cup. I don't want to get injured, so I'm not playing, you know? But then the more I read into the article and watched it, it seemed as if he knew he wasn't going to be played. He said, I won't be on the bench. And he didn't, you know, he wasn't involved. So it's not the right way to do it, granted. But I think he's just looking forward. He wants to play football, you know? I mean, and I can understand that as a player. You want to play. If your club's not going to play it, let me go, you know?
Yeah.
But again, from an asset point of view, Man United were never going to let him go for free. You know, I mean, they needed something because, you know, they paid money for him, etc. So, I mean, it's a difficult one. As I say, I think everybody's wrong. I don't think there's anybody being right in the situation. I think, as I said, I still don't believe Ten Hag is as good as everybody says. As a coach, as a tactician, and as a man manager, because they're liking him now to Sir Alex Ferguson, saying that, you know, he's took the hard line and he's disciplined Ronaldo, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that comparison's fair at all, personally, you know?
Yeah.
So we will see what happens, like I said. But I think that his days are done. I mean, I think if there was music coming in now, there'd be some kind of, you know, the end is near, you know, kind of thing, or a violin playing, you know. So I think he will have an exceptional World Cup. Personally, I think he will. I think he has been holding back a little bit, like a lot of players have been at their clubs, because they want to play at the greatest show on earth. So,
and you know, a lot of people, which I can't understand this, how quick people are quick to write players off. For example, the same thing was said about Messi last year when he was struggling a little bit at PSG. They were like, oh, he's done. And then, you know, obviously he's playing well now. And like, I'm even hearing Manchester United fans now. I understand from both sides of the coins. I'm trying to look at both sides of the coin. I understand. I try to put myself in Ronaldo's shoes. If those situations did in fact take place, I mean, especially at one with his wife and child. I mean, that's difficult for anybody to deal with. And that would affect anybody. I know some people, you know, step away from the game completely, like this guy from Atalanta and so on, where, you know, the mental issues, which is a whole other topic. We actually have a separate topic about that, where, you know, this is where it shows he's a strong character. He still competes. He still is in very good physical form for someone his age. He is, without a doubt, a quality player and an asset to any team. However, the other side of the coin is, you know, as we said at the beginning, Ten Hag as well. You're a young coach, if I want to. He's not young, but you know, new in terms of Manchester United. You know, he's also in a bit of a pickle because now you have a player like this, kind of like Pochettino at PSG. Where how do you handle this? And I guess this is where you and I always talk about this, where coaching is not just about tactics anymore and training, but man management and personality and handling these guys. And some coaches, I think, prefer, even if it seems detrimental, it seems as if he's one of those coaches where, you know what, I'll get rid of him and work with some younger players. It seems like that's his stance. But with all that being said, do you think there is any way of these guys patching things up and working things out? I mean, I've seen arguments before from other teams. Do you think this is a salvageable situation, or it's done?
It's done. I mean, and my biggest worry now is the fact that so many, I mean, you've got, for example, Fernandes, Ronaldo, Dallo together at Portugal. Will that affect how Portugal are going to do now? Because I read an article today that it said Fernandes was furious at Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
Will that now play into how well they do at the tournament? And also, will they use that as an excuse if they don't do as well as they should? So, as I said, there's so many branches to this tree, in a sense, you know, that, as I say, I think the chopping blocks came down. Ronaldo's going one way. Man United's going another. Fine, let's get it done. But as I say, I think there'll be maybe not devastated, but consequences for both. Because let's be honest, Man United are not anywhere near the Man United we know. They're coming up against Barcelona in the Europa League, you know, very soon as well. All of these things are going to affect them. And then again, like I say, the Portuguese side of things too. So it's not a great situation to be in.
Yep. And you know, the question is you know, I agree with you. I think the situation is, I think it's good if they just go their separate ways. I think from a financial standpoint, Manchester United, it is a business. I guess they'll try to get what they believe they deserve. And Ronaldo wants his playing time. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm pretty sure, you know, even though the World Cup will be going on, these things go on behind the scenes. Player negotiate contracts. At the last Copa America, Messi, you know, had his whole Barcelona thing going on. And, you know, that didn't end well, you know, for those who follow that story. So it's not the same, but very similar, where there's a club that both players love. But obviously the relationship went downhill, and we'll see where it goes. And then that raises the question, two questions for me. If you're a club owner, very few clubs could afford him because he's going to demand a lot, which is a topic we spoke about, funny enough, at the beginning of the season when he wanted to leave, which is another topic that a lot of people brought up as well. He did ask to leave during the summer, and the argument that people made was that, well, nobody really went after him, mainly because I think he priced himself out of the market. And I think Manchester City, I think if I remember correctly, on the verge of signing him, and he ended up staying. When he first went to Manchester United, he was on the verge of going to Man City, and he was convinced to go to Manchester United. So now that this has fallen apart, where could he possibly go? And where could he go? And also, if you're a club owner and you're looking at the situation, are you thinking, would I want this while he's a great player, just like with Mbappe and so on? You know, what if the relationship doesn't go well and this happens? You know, what do you think about it? Where do you think he'll go, and who do you think will take him?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I don't think his next move has to be
Champions League football.
Well, it has to be the right move for him, right? But what I mean by that is he can't go and then be disruptive again, because that'll be it over, you know, kind of thing. So he has to pick the right club. But I don't think he needs to even consider the money now, because the amount of money, I mean, it's him or Messi they've made in the game. Do they really need to go and get the most money in the world?
Correct.
So they could literally, I mean, what I'm saying is he could say tomorrow, I'm going to play for free. It won't happen. And then I can go to, you know, all these host of clubs, because I think if he was going for free, half of the world would want him, you know, in a sense. Yep. So it's the money factor that obviously scares them off. So where do I think he will go? I would love him to go to PSG and play with Messi, because I would always wanted to see them play together.
Yeah.
And you know, there's obviously been talk again about Mbappe leaving, so it might be a nice move there. I also think, realistically, in the back of my mind, I've always said he might go back to Real Madrid. But the fact of Benzema doing so well, that's the only kind of drawback there. Could he go to Chelsea? There was lots of talk about that. I know their American owner wanted him, so that was one of the reasons why Tuchel got sacked, I think, you know. So that could be an option as well. Or does he go back to his homeland and go to Sporting Lisbon? So there's options there, even although people are saying, "Oh, there's not really." There's no way he's not going to be playing football. Put it that way. So we'll just have to see. But as I say, I think he's probably already, whether he's signed the contract or whether he's signed in his mind where he's going next. He knows, because he would not have done this interview not knowing he had something.
Yep. And I guess, with all this mayhem, there's a couple components if you want to determine where he's going. Champions League football is a priority for Cristiano Ronaldo, so that would eliminate a lot of clubs. And then also, while he is capable of playing for free, the financial aspect, he has an agent. These agents, their job is to get maximum, unless Ronaldo straight out comes out and says, "Listen, I'll play anywhere for free," which, as you said, that's not going to happen. So, that really limits it down to what you said. I think it's, of course, I could be wrong. And folks, you can let me know what you think in the comment section. But I think Manchester City, PSG, maybe Chelsea in England, and Sporting in Portugal. I don't think he's going to go back to Italy. I don't think anybody in Italy could afford him. Maybe Juventus, but I don't think they want to. I think that ending in Juventus didn't go well, so I don't think he's going to go back there. And then there's also the Real Madrid. So that's 5 teams really that I am making an educated guess that he will go. But
there's one thing we've not considered, Andre. I'm getting a phone call right now. One second. Ronaldo, that's you? You want to come and play for EXTV? There you go. The move that nobody knew about. He wants to come and play for us at EXTV.
Yes. But will he start for EXTV, James? Will you put yourself on the bench for Cristiano Ronaldo? The drama continues. It's already begun. James is not happy with Cristiano Ronaldo coming. These top level players, or would I have to bench myself? See, James, it's already begun. It has already. We'll have to make it work. We will learn from the playbook of not Ten Hag and make it work. What do you think?
I agree, but I am a coach now, so he can take my spot anytime he wants.
Yeah. For the betterment of the team, if it helps the team, I'll also bench myself. So, some coaching tactics there, folks, from yours truly and James. But, Cristiano Ronaldo, listen, that's a whole topic by itself. Folks, let me know what you think in the comment section below about this. What do you think about the situation? Do you think Ronaldo is wrong? Do you think the club is handling it wrong? Do you think both parties are just terrible? This was just what was supposed to be a nice homecoming, maybe a ride off into the sunset type of thing, has just gone completely sour. It just hasn't worked out. And then where do you think he's going to go? Let us know what you think in the comment section below, because we will be giving away random prizes as we usually do. Copies of FIFA 23. Also, that trip to Tobago, James, we'll give some more information how we're going to do that. So, folks, once again, it's been an absolute pleasure. James, we have lots of football to always talk about. Folks, thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate that. I've been seeing the comments and the analytics for the site. It's from all over the planet. I saw from Malaysia and other countries and so on. So I really appreciate that. James and I really appreciate that. We have our EXTV Media website. Yeah, it's being updated as we speak. So, keep looking in there for interesting blogs, articles, and comments from, people in the sporting industry in Trinidad and Tobago. Not just football, but also esports and so on. So, James.
And the other thing we forgot about, Andre, wait, hold your horses there. Hold your horses, pal.
Pump the brakes. Yep.
As of Sunday, we will be at Smokey and Bunty's on the Avenue. So we want all our fans to come down. It's World Cup fever. We have our new show, which is the greatest show on earth.
Yes.
Obviously, talking about football, talking about everything that goes on during the World Cup. And we will be wanting to get you involved as well. So come down and check us out, whether it's in person, whether it's just watching the show online. And also, as I say, check out all of our sponsors as well, because obviously, if it wasn't for them, we can't do all this. So
yes,
we appreciate all the support.
For continuously supporting us and EXTV and making us what we are today. We appreciate that. So, James, in a couple of days, we'll be down there having some fun, having drinks, taking the games in, talking about football, and just having fun. We all like to go in a football place. And as we say in Trinidad and Tobago, come down for the lime. And I'll explain what lime means on the next show. So, James, it's been a pleasure. And folks, we'll be seeing you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Be sure to head over to our YouTube channel where you can see interviews in cricket, football. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also head over to extvmedia.com, our website, where we have blogs and interesting articles for you all to take a look at, which is a little bit different. So like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section below.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.